Hey, Isaiah, what do you guys feel about the first couple weeks of the season, the development out of camp now into the first few weeks of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're really excited. We know that we have a lot to grow on, and we're just attacking that every day.
What's it like to have someone like David out on the court with you guys who's played 90-plus games with the ball in his hands, the experience he's had helping you and some of the guys that are younger than you?
Yeah, I mean, it's great, having a vet, I guess we can call him. Having an old dude that's been through it and that knows what it's like, and he's played on the highest level. It means a lot for this team. So, we love him.
And finally, for me, with most of the guys new to Coach Williams this season, is that something positive that it's a collective experience for most of the guys on the team?
Yeah.
That they're going through the same experience with him?
For sure. I think it brings us all closer because we know that we have to learn together. And, I think it helps us learn faster at a faster rate. Coach always talks about, compound growth. So every day we come in, we're trying to compound. Yep.
Hey, Isaiah, I know it's only been a couple games with Buzz, but how would you kind of describe his style on the sideline during games, kind of his demeanor?
Yeah, he's you guys see him. He has a lot of energy. He brings that energy every day, whether it's practice, whether it's film. He's a great leader. So, it's been a blessing to be with him.
How would you compare his style to other coaches you've had? Like more energy, less energy?
I mean, I feel like every coach has their energy that they bring, but his style is just a little bit different. I love it. So.
Hey, Isaiah. Through your first few games, how would you evaluate your own play so far?
Yeah. Through the first few games, I mean, obviously I'm a shooter. I like to put the ball in the basket. Haven't been shooting well, but I told my mom that I'm built to make shots. But what comes with that is missing shots. So I'm okay with missing a bunch of shots and finding my rhythm. And then on the defensive side, I feel like I could definitely take a step. I think there's a step that I can take with anything that I do. So just talking about compound growth, I think just keep growing.
Yeah, and then, I mean, you're looking good out there with the mask, but how much of an impact do you think that's been having on the performances?
No impact at all. I kind of like them. At first, I didn't like the mask. I kind of like the mask. People call me Batman, so I kind of like that. I was watching Dark Knight Rises, so hopefully going into Marquette, I have that type of attitude.
You gonna keep it going when you're all healed up? Then?
No.
As kind of talk me through the perimeter spacing and the mindset on the offensive end, especially playing against the zone like you guys might tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, as basketball players, we know that in order to have driving lanes, in order to drive and kick, or just it requires a lot of space. Whether that's against Marquette or whether that's against Alcorn State, like we have to have good spacing. So we just know that we have to stick to what we do best and what we do. So, yeah, it's what it is.
And then Buzz was talking a lot about your guys' game day routine, especially watching rebounding clips early on in the day. Kind of take me through that process. What does the room look like during that?
I mean, it's just really just sitting around the TV and, he's talking about what we need to do better, and we go out and execute it. That's pretty much it.
All right, let me help Isaiah out, and then I'll get Coach in real quick. All right, you're good, bud.
All right.
Isaiah, Coach talked a lot about the assist ratio, kind of needing to get better. As a guard, what do you need to do to help that, and what does everybody else kind of need to do to help that situation?
I think that's going to come with more games with each other. We're still learning to play with each other, and we're still growing with each other. So once we kind of gel a little bit better, we'll be perfect. Appreciate y'all.
Hey, Coach, Scott Wyckoff from WBAL Radio in Baltimore. Thanks for taking time before you guys hit the road. What's impressed you the most through camp and now the early part of the season with Pharrell's game and the way he's come out in the court?
He's made a lot of strides in the year that we've known him. I think the most impressive thing is he wants to improve. He doesn't shy away from work. He wants to be coached. He wants to be told the truth. I think he appreciates the pace at which we operate. There was a learning curve to that a year ago at this time, but he's a really, really good human being. I think his ball screen coverage continues to improve. I think his understanding of space, whether he has the ball or doesn't have the ball, has made tremendous strides. And I think he's getting to the point where he can sustain his effort over longer periods of time. I think he played 21 minutes a game for us in the second semester last year. So he's making the appropriate strides relative to his growth, and obviously we're very thankful that he's here and very dependent upon what he's done through the first 3 games.
What does David's role in this team mean to you to have a guy like him with the ball in his hands who's played 90-plus games at the highest level with a lot of guys that are kind of learning their way as they go along?
Well, that's the first time I've heard him called David. It took me a minute to figure out who had the ball. His natural position is off the ball. And one thing that I think he's had tremendous growth in regards to receiving what we want to do. He's getting better at how we want to do it. But I think the why we do it, he's bought in 1,000%. And he's as old as you can possibly be in college. And for him, you know, sometimes the hardest learning is unlearning. And he's been tremendous at that. And we've kind of had to miscast him, but he's playing with a low turnover rate, and we anticipate he's going to have to play a lot. And so he's going to have to continue at the pace that he's been at. I think he does have experience playing at this level. He's been at this level for 1 season off the bench last year, kind of in a completely different role than what he's been in through the first 2 weeks of this season. But he's embraced that and wanted that. We talk often. He's constantly in the office. He's constantly on the court doing skill work. And so I appreciate the energy that he's competing with.
And finally, for me, what was the biggest takeaway as a coach from your time at Marquette that you've carried on with you in your career?
I think it's just a testimony to a lot of people that have been willing to help me. I haven't done as good a job as those people have in regards to willingness to help others. Like I mentioned the other night, there's no way I should have got that job. That's a top 15 job. Always has been, always will be. And there were a lot of people that helped me. And so I think the thing that I've tried to carry, I guess it's been 12 years since, I've just tried to find ways to help other people, maybe that were as undeserving as I was for that opportunity, because there were a lot of people at that institution, in that department, in that community that were doing things that they didn't have to do, that were very helpful, that changed our family's life. Thank you. That was a whole interview. That was a podcast.
Hey, Buzz, you've talked a lot about the importance of keeping routine on game days, especially in watching rebounding clips the mornings before game days. Kind of take me through that film watching process and why rebounding is so important.
Well, if you look at it analytically, in any game, high school game, college game, NBA game, regardless of gender, the thing that happens the second most in any game is rebounds. So it's going to be the number of shots. That's always going to be first, and second is going to be rebounds. Now, is your team going to get it, or is our team going to get it? And so one of the things that we learned coming out of COVID It kind of began during COVID, during the lockout, everybody kind of in a weird place. How are we going to establish some level of program not based exclusively on talent, and how could we create a niche that would give us some guidance on how to recruit and what was a margin that we could compete in, maybe that we would change the practice itinerary, the film watching itinerary, and maybe bend it in a way that would be unique to our program. And so I've learned a lot from other people. This was not something that I formulated. It was just kind of a project that has become all-consuming. Rebounding Clips, the day of the game, started 2 seasons ago. And in our program, there's 174 buckets of responsibility, and everyone in the program has certain buckets that they're the head coach of. I have the least number of buckets, even though my title is head coach, but my bucket one of is rebounding. And so we're not very good at it currently. We're not ranked in the top 100 no matter which team shoots it. But I do think that there is beginning to be some traction in understanding it. And so I think tomorrow, it's always dependent on the road how far we're away from the hotel, but I think Rebounding Clips in the morning are at 6:21.
We've talked a lot about playing against the zone. What's the focus on that on the offensive end, and then has that changed at all since Tuesday's game?
Are you talking about how we rebound out of a zone?
Just offensive sets playing against a set.
Oh, our biggest problem, no matter zone in the full court, the half court, man in the full court or the half court, we need to try not to give it to the other team as much. That's what's hurting our offensive numbers. I think we turned it over 17% of the time on Tuesday night. We did have 1 turnover against the zone, but of the 15 turnovers in addition that we had, regardless of what the defense is doing, our offense needs to do a better job of not giving it to the other team. Some of our defensive numbers are improving. What's hurting our defensive numbers is when we give it to the other team and they score on a live ball turnover. Obviously, that hurts some of it. But I would say it's not necessarily our zone attack or even some of the spacing in our man stuff. It's just a lot of possession related. We can't give it to the other team.
Hey, Coach. Guillermo, Willie, has been somebody whose role, at least from the outside, has seemed to sort of evolve through these opening games. Obviously, starter perhaps out of necessity, goes to the bench, ends up having a bit of a better game on Tuesday than he had before. What have you seen from him this season, and what do you expect to see over the course of this year?
I think the thing that I would say in defense of Willie is him not being here this summer. No matter who you are, whether you're from this country or not, whether you're a portal or a high school senior, when you miss an entire summer in the film room and on the court and in the weight room, you're going to be playing from behind. I love his spirit. I would say he's the most favorite player within the program. Our players, in a very genuine way, rally around protecting him. I thought the shock of 11-0 versus Georgetown to start the game wasn't Willie's fault, but when he just gave it to him 6 inches from the rim, that was probably the right decision by me, not giving him an opportunity to go back. We started a different group. Supposedly some of the people that are supposed to be better, and we got beat 10-2 in the second half. So he's making some growth, but again, whether it's Willie, whether it's Diggy, whether it's Goach, we've got to continue to work on our work capacity. Like, how long can Willie play and do what we're asking him to do? Same with Diggy, same with Goach. I know you guys laughed at me maybe at some point in Baltimore. Like, we need Goachie to play every minute. And we need Diggy to be much more productive. We need Willie to get to a position where he can maybe make a shot, maybe make a free throw, maybe have an assist, but our work capacity, regardless of their name, we're making strides. We've just got to continue to make longer strides, and we're continuing to show that to them in practice. We're showing that to them from the games. We've made some strides. We've just got to continue to increase our capacity, including Willie.
Yeah. And then, of course, like you were referencing the culture barrier, language barrier, how has it been as a coach attempting to overcome that?
So initially, I was probably wrong on that question. We tried to find someone on campus maybe that could shadow him, specifically with basketball, because I think what I've learned from Willie, you know, some of the things that you would use as far as language in basketball, that's not our language as a coach. That's not our language as a program. We refer to our language as words we use. And so it's not necessarily that Willie doesn't understand English. It's how we're using those English words in our program. And I think some of the context from those words was not how he learned Rosetta Stone English, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And I have asked Willie, including today, 712 times, do you understand what I'm asking you? Like most guys 2 weeks into the season with a brand new coach, they don't really know if I'm being sarcastic, if I'm being sincere, but we're improving in regards to our body language. Our whole program is, Willie is too, and I'm trying to be more aware of that. Our staff and our players, when I kept saying we need to hire him a tutor, they kept saying, Coach, he understands everything. He just doesn't know how to talk to you. And I would say that our program was right about that, and I was wrong about that. I have one question, because I know we go so fast. Is everybody in here a student except the radio guy? All right, I'm going to do a better job. Just for practice, when you guys ask me a question, I know you guys don't care, but I want to be more personal. I want to learn some of y'all's names. I always see the sticker, but if I'm the new guy, I'm just walking in there and have no idea, and I'm getting obliterated, no problem, but I'd at least like to know your name.
Harrison Rich, the Diamondback.
Thank you. You're a student.
I'm a student.
Diamondback newspaper.
Yeah.
On campus.
Mm-hmm.
Harrison.
How would
This is the first time you've been here?
I've been here.
Gotcha.
I was here last week.
All right.
First time in the front row.
Probably. How would you describe your demeanor on the sideline as a coach during games, and has that all evolved throughout your career?
For sure. I'm old now. I think this is our 19th season, so a little over 600 games. I would say it's dramatically evolved. Partly my age, partly just how the model of college athletics has changed. I've coached at a lot of places that have hyphens or directions in the name of the school, so there's not quite the exposure. But I think some of it, the game has changed too, and I think so I've tried to morph and be a little bit more mature. I probably care too much about the value of each possession, and so I've kind of taken some of that energy and maybe some of that passion and tried to invest it in the relationships with our players so that in real time I can say things that I hope that they receive in the right way. But for sure, I would say that a lot of it has to do with my age and just how things have changed over the last 20 years.
I couldn't help but notice on Tuesday that your suit jacket came off a couple minutes in. Was that a malfunction from the suit, or did you choose to?
Yeah, I know nobody's ever asked, and so I'll go ahead and tell you for being so sincere. I wear a sport coat during non-conference games except at MTEs, and I wear soft-soled shoes. And then during conference play, I wear a vest so nobody asks me how much I sweat, and I wear hard-soled shoes. I was raised in a small farming community where you try to give your best. And most of the jobs I had for a long period of time, you got paid by the hour. And so I feel very blessed and fortunate. And so my only hobby is gear. That's all it's ever been. And so there's not a malfunction. I was trying to see if we could get our work capacity to be a little longer. Could we go from one media timeout to the next and play incredibly hard and play for one another? And so I was probably a little too exuberant on Tuesday night. And I'm trying to find ways in practice, and I'm trying to find ways in the film room how I can ignite that same level of energy, because I think the best programs are not led by the coach. I think the best programs are led by the players, and we want to establish a great program here. That's what it's always been. And now that we're all brand new, regardless if my suit works, my sport coat works or not, whether I sweat, whether I'm too energetic or not, I want our players and our program to all have that same intangible. And we're not there yet. We're not even in the first grade version of it, but I do think that we're approaching kindergarten. And so we're making progress. Harrison, I'm going to remember you. Diamondback.